Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Onset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Alright guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Pass it on to somebody else who may like it as well. And if you have time, come talk to me in the comment section. As you can see, my cleaning lady found my nose ring. I lost it. I've had it for years and years and years, and I was so upset. And she looked in the same place that I had been looking and found it in like 3 seconds. So I don't know. Maybe my eyesight is going because I did not see it. But God, she found it. So I wanted to really quick answer a question that I was asked in the comment section. And this is a question about Aquarius, of course. So the young lady is a Gemini, and she's been in a relationship with an Aquarius, and she's asked me a few questions actually, and I love her questions because I've answered a couple of them because it's given us a real opportunity to dig into the relationship of being with an Aquarius. And one of the things she said that I thought was amazing, she said, what is the difference between an Aquarius shutting off or shutting down and an Aquarius who's simply emotionally unavailable? Okay? And the only difference between these things, that's why I said it would be very quick, because there's only one major difference: frequency. If an Aquarius is emotionally unavailable, they're generally emotionally unavailable all the time. They may try. Remember what I said about that word try? Try to me is a half-ass effort. So they might try to put in a half-ass effort, but they're not emotionally available. They can do happiness, they can do anger sometimes too. But generally, if something goes wrong, if their partner is sad, if their partner is angry, or if something like that is going on, generally this Aquarius is unable to handle it ever. They're never able to handle it. Like I said, some of them will make the attempt, but it's never really good. Also, when an Aquarius is just simply shutting down, they will only shut down when they're overwhelmed. They'll only shut down sometimes. They shouldn't be overwhelmed every time a situation occurs. That's somebody who's emotionally unavailable, like I said earlier. So in this case, the Aquarius can handle emotion sometimes, I would say the majority of the time, but just not all the time. So if an argument comes up between these two, and it's really nasty and it's really negative, the Aquarius might get very frustrated and storm off, you know? But this should not happen every single time. Sometimes the Aquarius should be able to work through it. They should be able to say something. Now, when I talk about these issues with my Aquarius tell me that they do talk about it, and the other person is just either not getting what they're saying, or they want to argue, or it's just they feel like they say something and the other person doesn't get it. I think that happens sometimes, but that's not all my Aquarius. Some of my Aquarius are not talking about these things, and they keep saying, well, I said something, and I'm like, well, not all of you are, because I know it's times when I haven't said anything. I know it's times when I've been upset about something or heard about something many, many, many times, and I have not said a word. I've just left, ghosted, discontinued the relationship, cut that person off. I didn't say anything, okay? So sometimes, yeah, the Aquarius says something and they feel like they're not being heard, so they get tired of talking on the same subject over and over again. So I want you, if you're in a relationship with an Aquarius, the first thing I want you to do is think, are they saying something? Are you missing what they're saying? Okay? That's first and foremost. Are you listening? Because sometimes they're telling me that they're saying something and the other person isn't receiving it. And on the flip of that, Aquarius, ask yourself, did you really explain? Because some of us don't. And some of us give a half-ass attempt. So if you're giving a full attempt, if you really said something and the other person just didn't receive it or chose to ignore you, then I can't say anything in those situations because you did speak up. You did say what you had to say. And I'm not talking about those situations. I'm talking about situations where the Aquarius just ghosts, just cuts off, doesn't say anything, and just disappears. Or every time there's an argument, every time there's a conversation, it might not even be an argument. It could just be a conversation that's uncomfortable. And every time the Aquarius just shuts off. If the Aquarius is shutting off every single time, that Aquarius is emotionally unavailable. And now you have to ask yourself, why are you in a relationship with somebody who's emotionally unavailable? If they're emotionally unavailable, it's time for you to move on. Because your relationship with an emotionally unavailable person is only going to take you but so far. So if they are shutting down at times here and there, I could see myself talking to that person and trying to work through that. But if they're shutting down every time there's a problem, every time there's a conversation, every time, you know, then for me, you're emotionally unavailable, and I don't want to be with a person who's emotionally unavailable. So you have to ask yourself, if you're in either of these situations, what's the deal? Can it be worked through? Or is it a situation where it's time to move on? And only you can truly answer that question. Or you can hit me up and we can do a reading and I can answer that question, because we can look at them and see which one of the two it really is. But if you're sitting here listening to this video now, 9 times out of 10, you know if your Aquarius just shuts off occasionally or if your Aquarius is truly emotionally unavailable. And if your partner, Aquarius or not, is emotionally unavailable, that is a hellish relationship. I have relationships with certain people who aren't very emotional, and several of them are Aquarius. And the relationships, even though they have the tendency to be good ones, because I really do love my relationships with Aquarius, I do miss that part. I must admit, I miss that part. Like, I yearn for an emotional connection. And I know that in those cases, those Aquarius aren't capable but so much, you know. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's kind of painful, because I would like a more close emotional connection, especially now that I've become more emotionally intelligent, but it's just not available. So sometimes it is painful to me to be in those friendships knowing that I would like to be able to show them my love, or, you know, to connect in that way. Because some of the times an Aquarius who's emotionally unavailable or has a hard time with emotion is not able to receive. They can't give sometimes, and sometimes it's either or. Sometimes they can't give and they can't receive. And sometimes it's just one or the other. So it is difficult to be in those types of relationships. But remember, for me, these aren't romantic relationships. These are friendships and family members. But if this is your husband, if this is your wife, if this is your girlfriend, your boyfriend, and they're emotionally unavailable, that could be emotionally damaging to you. So you got to really think about, is this where you want to be? Because if it was me and I realized that, I wouldn't stick around. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you would like a reading, please email me and I will be happy to give you an appointment. Likewise, if you want to talk with me, check out my information underneath this video. Also, I'm getting ready to record right now my new episode of The Witch Trials. So if you're not a patron on Patreon, you're missing out on The Witch Trials, and you've missed out on the opportunity for a free reading contest. And that's another thing I wanted to tell you guys about Patreon. For all of you who are already my patrons on Patreon, as a special thank you to you, I'm also adding you to the contest. So everybody who's already a patron, your name is going into the hat, along with anybody else who signs up by November 2nd. So you all have the ability to win a free 60-minute reading. And you can thank you can thank my first patron for that, my godfather. He told me it was not fair that he was not included. And I was like, okay, I'm going to include every patron because you all are special to me. All right, guys, see you later.